If you always wanted to learn how to use internet marketing, digital marketing, and social media marketing to grow your brand or business, well, get ready. Right now, you get to tune in to this live interview with Paul Getter from the Internet Marketing Nerds on how to leverage internet marketing and social media to scale and grow your business. Enjoy. Paul Getter is the CEO of the Internet Marketing Nerd, a company that makes online marketing simpler than a Rubik's Cube. They specialize in lead generation, platform building, book writing and publishing, event planning, and filling venues, along with connecting clients to almost anyone in the world. If you are ready to grasp of internet marketing, to scale up and stretch towards real success while making big money, then this is the episode to tune into. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the self-proclaimed internet marketing nerd and fellow entrepreneur, Paul Getter, to the Entrepreneur Secrets podcast. Welcome, Paul.
Thank you very much, Femi. Man, with that introduction, I'm like, who is he talking about? That's me? Wow. Man, I was expecting some big celebrity or something like that to jump on. But yeah, man, thanks for that introduction. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on the show.
No problem, man. I know you've been working your magic behind the scenes for some really big name individuals, and you got to put yourself on that list as well. And I always love highlighting the guests. You know, I like highlighting the guests that I feature on Entrepreneur Secrets because you have a story, you're making an impact, you're inspiring lives, and I think this is probably the only platform I can list off the top of the hat that will highlight you the best way that you should be.
Well, I appreciate that, man. That's very kind of you. Really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
I'm happy you're here. So let's kind of dive right into this, and I would love for you to share who is Paul Getter. Like, share for the listeners, share for those watching. Who is Paul?
Yeah, so, well, as you mentioned, it's Paul Getter, also known as the Internet Marketing Nerd. I've had the privilege of working with some of the top entrepreneurs online, guys like Ty Lopez, Grant Cardone, Bob Proctor, A-list celebrities, guys like Kevin Hart, Boris Kojo, even rappers and musicians, worked with Akon. So I've been blessed to work with some amazing people and help them build their online brand, grow their business, and help connect them to the online world in a better way.
That's deep. And I think like every individual that I've connected with through this podcast, they talk about what their gift is, how they use their gift, how they created connections and created impact. Why did you go down this road? Like what was it about internet marketing that kind of really inspired you and made you say, you know what, I can target these people and help these people?
Yeah, so a lot of times people ask me the question like, "Hey, how did you decide to become an entrepreneur?" And I'm like, I had bills I had to pay. There was no like, I woke up and say, "Hey, I want to be an entrepreneur." It's just I was an entrepreneur by default. I had bills to pay, and I was trying to do whatever I could to make money. And so when I began my entrepreneur journey online, as I mean, this makes me sound like ancient, but online marketing was very new. The internet was very new. And, so I was one of those individuals that initially started helping businesses build websites. SEO was the up and coming thing where it was a lot easier years ago. And so I was doing things like that, helping them build websites and search engine optimization. And then the social media platforms started to become more and more popular. And initially, the feel of like Facebook and Instagram, it was very much like a game, like a playground for kids online. There was Farmville, and there was all of these games on the social media platforms. So it didn't necessarily have the business opportunity, but I remember it first started out one of my friends said, "Hey, you need to get on Facebook." They were heading off to college and they wanted to stay in contact. Okay, I'll get on Facebook, and got on Facebook, and I started seeing a couple businesses that were leveraging, doing Facebook pages for their business. And I thought, well, maybe I'll try this. And I set up a Facebook page for our church. And I remember the first time someone came to church and I got talking with them, some visitors there, and I asked him, I said, "Where'd you hear about us?" And they said, "Oh, we saw you on Facebook." And it was just like, my mind was blown. I was like, these are real people. They are really here. And it was like a light bulb went off, and I was like, okay, businesses can use this. And so I started helping businesses, whether it's mom and pop restaurants, pizza shops, things like that, build their online presence. And then from there, it just kind of obviously snowballed into bigger and better things.
What's so interesting about that starting point is you entered into the game, shall I
Mhm.
say, with generosity.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the perspective you had was, I'm going to create a page for my church, not even for me to gain profit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was just I thought, well, okay, other businesses are doing this. We should have one for the church, and um, let's do that. And then yeah, it kind of grew from there.
That's big. So then what was the segue when you were like, okay, the church is getting some traction.
Yeah.
Where should I try this next? Like, like what was that transition?
Yeah. So it started as like a hobby. So I was building Facebook pages, and back at this time, building Facebook pages was um, is the cool thing to do. Kind of like how people now they are building their TikTok or building their Instagram pages. Well, back then people wanted to really grow their Facebook page. So I was building Facebook pages as a hobby for me, based upon it could be anything, I had Christian Facebook pages. I had pages about camping and wildlife and just different things like that. And I learned how to post the content, how to engage, and how to grow the audience. And I guess you would kind of say that I was a growth hacker on Facebook pages, and I learned how to run ads to grow Facebook pages, so I could grow a Facebook page organically from 0 to 1 million within a month or two. And when I started doing that, it got a lot of people's attention, and businesses would reach out to me like, "Hey, would you share my content?" And basically do a shout out for them. And I was like, "Yeah." And they would say, "We'll pay you $50." I was like, "Whoa, they're gonna pay me to?" And so again, I realized, okay, there's money to be made here. So what I began to do, first of all, businesses would reach out to me, and then they wanted me to give them shout outs, help them grow their page. And then I would say, hey, there's an easier way for me to grow your page. I can run ads to help you grow your page, and it's going to be quicker and get you better targeted audience. And so they would hire me to grow their Facebook page. And then when I saw that there was money to be made doing that, when Facebook first started, you would set up a page and you could click a button and it would say, let us grow your page. And you would click a button and Facebook would auto populate and make a horrible ad that would grow your page. And people would do that. They'd set up the page and then they would say, yes, click. And it would say, select your budget amount. And you would say, $5 a day, $10 a day, $20 a day, whatever you wanted to spend. And then Facebook would make this ugly ad and your page would grow. But it was not a good ad. It was an ad that made Facebook money, really. And so people would get page likes on their Facebook page for 50 cents, $1 by doing that way. And I would scroll through Facebook and I could just look and I could see, okay, this was one of those auto-populated Facebook ugly ads. And I would see that and I would message the people that were managing those pages and I would say, hey, I saw your ad on Facebook. How's that going? Now, I already knew that if they were doing that ad, it was going horrible because they didn't know what they were doing. And but they would respond, oh, it's going great. Oh, we're loving it. Our page is growing. And then I would say, well, if you don't mind me asking, how much are you spending each day and what type of results are you getting? And again, I already knew the results were horrible, but they didn't know it was horrible.
Wow.
And they would respond, oh, we're spending $20 a day and we're getting, 20, 30 likes a day. Well, if I made custom ads, I could get uh, followers, likes on their page. In some cases, 10 followers for a penny.
Wow.
So, which was amazing. They're spending $1 a follower, and I could get 10 followers, highly targeted, better followers than what they were getting, and I'd get 10 of them for a penny. So I would say, well, how about this? Let me manage your growth for you, uh, and you pay me the $20 a day, and instead of you getting 20, I'll get you 200.
Wow.
And of course, they would feel like, okay, this is impossible. This is some type of scam or something. And it was, I would notice that apprehension, and I'd say, let me do it for 2 days for free. Again, 200 likes on their page would cost me $2, so it was no loss for me. So anyways, I would set it up, get it running for 2 days. Their mind would be blown, and they would say, okay, we will give you the $20 a day. You run it and grow it. It's better. You're getting us a lot more. And so you can obviously see it cost me $2 to do it. The $18 was my profit on it. And so, I mean, you do the math, $18 a day, a month, I'm making $500 just for one person. So that's what I would do on Fridays and Saturdays is I would just scroll through Facebook and I would find those ugly ads made by Facebook, and I would message people. Next thing you know, I've got 10 people, some paying me $20 a day, some $40 a day, some $50, some $100 a day. And now I've got a full-time business helping people grow their Facebook page. So that was my beginning of internet marketing.
That is big. Like, I think there was so much nuggets dropped into that one story of how you studied the market, how you
Yeah,
study your unique gift and ability. I talk a lot about this in Reboot, like my book, where if you know your unique gift, your unique ability, you can learn how to monetize your mission.
absolutely. Yeah.
Right? And what's interesting about it is you set time aside to figure out where can I find these people that I can help serve with my skill, my ability, my gift. And what's really great about that is you actually answered that question, which was how did you leverage internet marketing and social media in growing your business? Maybe you could dive into that even deeper. Like, what did you do to scale your business through internet marketing and social media even faster?
Yeah. So, basically, when you understand that social media gives you the ability to really you to connect with anybody. If you know what you're doing, you can connect with anybody. So initially it started out helping people grow their Facebook pages,
Yep.
and it was I made great money. I went from delivering phone books where I was getting paid, $40, $50 a night, to now all I do is I set up an ad, and in my eyes, it was set it and forget it. I would set it up and let it run for the client, and I was making just with one client $40, $50 a day, and it took me was 10, 15 minutes to set the ad up, and they were happy. Obviously, I was happy. You get 10 clients that are paying you 20 to 50 to even $100 a day to grow their page. I'm making a strong six figures pretty quickly. But I didn't stop there. I also kind of learned how people were wanting to generate leads for their business, and whether it was real estate, realtors or brokers, lenders, insurance agents, that people wanted to generate leads for their business. I remember one day I was driving down the road and I was listening to XM radio, and I kept hearing this guy's ad on XM radio, and it was, hey, we'll help you grow financially, blah blah blah. And just go to our website and get my free book. And so finally one day I went to his website and I looked at it and I was like, this website is horrible. Everything is done wrong. He's spending all this money on these radio ads and sending people to a horrible website. Things are not optimized. It wasn't set up for mobile format. It was just, I mean, it was horrible. And so I would hear this guy's ad on the radio 2-3 times a day. So I called up XM Radio and I said, how much does it cost for a 1-minute ad on XM Radio on certain channels and stuff? And they said, oh, it's $2,000 for 1 minute. I'm like, this guy is doing at least 3 or 4 times a day. So I did the math quickly and I was like, okay, this guy is spending thousands of dollars a day on radio ads, sending people to a website that isn't done properly. If I could somehow connect with him, there's some big money to be made. So I found this guy who was doing the radio ad. I hunted him down and found him on Facebook. And I messaged him. I said, hey, you know, I'm an internet marketer. I really think I could help your business out. And, you know, it just kind of gave my little pitch to him. And I remember he messaged me back. He's like, we do things differently. You know, we do radio and everything like that. And it's working fine for us. And it just kind of like, we do it the old school way. You know, I don't think this will work for my business. But I was like, I know I can help this guy. So I found a picture on his Facebook page, and it was a picture of him at Disney World, and he's wearing this goofy hat. I took that, and the guy's name was Brett, and I made an ad, and it said, hey, Brett, this is Paul. I can help you scale your business. And I put my phone number in this ad. And then I went on through his Facebook page, and I found out, okay, this is how old he is. This is where he's located. Here's his interest. Here's, you know, all the things that are related to him. And I made an ad that targeted him, just him. You know what I mean? So, you know, you figure out all of these things just by looking at their Facebook page. And I made an ad that targeted him. And it was, again, a picture of him wearing a goofy hat, my name and everything. And I set that ad up. I remember it was like 24, 48 hours later, I got a message in my Facebook Messenger, and it was a screenshot of the ad. And he said, Paul, this is really creepy. And he said, but I want to talk to you. and so we jumped on the phone, and well, I can just say he was one of my very first big 6-figure, even 7-figure clients that I worked with, generating leads for his business. And it was just knowing how to connect and to reach them.
That's powerful. And I think like what's really interesting about that story, and I love how you're sharing these stories because it helps captivate listeners and viewers. Everything you do highlights your gift, right? You in the beginning you may not even know what the gift is. Like you said, you were selling phone books, back in the day. But here's what most people aren't really recognizing. I was at a bank today, and I was actually just chatting with this branch manager about this, where I said, what you do naturally comes hard to other people.
Yeah.
And most people aren't even aware of that. They think, oh, this is just, everybody can do this because it's so simple to me.
Yeah, it's true.
Right? So, for example, somebody who's not familiar with social media, somebody who's not familiar with internet marketing, somebody who's not familiar with ads and any of these things might be like, what is retargeting?
Yeah.
Right? What is a pixel?
Right. Exactly.
Like what is a lead capture page? Like, and these are things that come natural to you.
We think it's common knowledge. And, you know, I remember when I started for years, you know, I worked with some of the biggest coaches, biggest consultants, and I ran their marketing for them, but I never personally had a course, never really did coaching or consulting. And I remember one time I was on a call with a client, and a few of the guys on my team was there, and we were talking to the client, and I was just saying stuff. And the client was like, "This is brilliant. I've never heard of this before. Who's doing this?" And their mind was just blown. And we got off the call, and my team was like, "Paul, why don't you do coaching, consulting? Why don't you do a course?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "What you just said to that client, they would have paid you to, for coaching, because that is very, high level stuff." And I'm like, because you do it, you're just so familiar with it. You just think, doesn't everybody know you can do that? But I always tell people, if you're talking about a subject, about something, and people start to say, "Wow, that's amazing," then chances are they would pay you. They would make some type of transaction with you to learn that from you. So that's kind of like an indicator. Okay, you might have something there that people would pay for, and people are like, "Whoa, I've never heard of that before."
Huh. There, I want to feed off of that. So when I first started my first business, which is health and fitness,
Hmm. Hmm.
I remember in the beginning stages, and I was talking to someone else about this the other day. You're in this window of doubt. And I mentioned in my other podcast, you're facing what I call the demon of doubt.
Hmm. Hmm.
Where you're questioning, I don't know if I could do this. I'm not too sure if I really can. Like, I don't really know. But then you start working at that thing, and people around you are like, whoa, exactly like you said. They're like that, like that's possible. I didn't know that you could
Yeah.
like what?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Now, when you started to realize that, how did you start packaging that into an offer to share and help other people? Like this is a random off the top. I
Sure.
gotta ask you. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that people, when they are growing their business, that there are certain pain points that everybody, has to cross that bridge, and they'll experience that. And so from there, I'm like, okay, there's a common theme. People are wanting to know how to do X, Y, Z. So if I could just focus in on teaching this, which was, for example, Facebook ads. If I can focus in showing people how to do Facebook ads properly and leverage it for their business, then I can really help. So this is when it comes to coaching, consulting, there has to be a sincere desire to just authentically help people. uh, if it's just you're motivated, hey, I can make some money off of this person, then uh, then you're being motivated by the wrong reason, and you will try to work with people that you can't help. I mean, and then you work with people that you can't help. Either you're not equipped to help, or they're not ready to be helped, or they don't they're not doing something that about, but you just say yes. Then what happens is you end up coaching people and you're not getting results, and then they complain, and then you're in trouble. So it's important when you're looking at someone like, can I really help them? Can I help them grow their business? Can I help them increase their revenue? Are there I'll give you an example. I remember I was talking with a guy. I looked at his website and I saw a huge opportunity for him to optimize his checkout. And it was just something from experiences. Like, everybody use this standard template checkout page, and typically the templates, they're just there for you to use, to work with. But most people, they don't realize you can optimize it, you can change things and get better results. So I saw that he was using a template checkout page, and I did my research, and he was doing a good amount of money. He was doing a strong 6 figures a month in his business using this template checkout page. So I reached out to him and I was like, "Hey man, I can help scale your business. I can increase your sales by at least 10-15%." And again, he's doing a strong, say he's doing $500,000 a month. Telling him, I can increase your sales by 10%. That's just like, that's that's $500,000 a year that I can make him. And of course, he's like, no, that's not possible. I don't believe it. I'm like, hey, I'll help you. Let's jump on a call. And I promise you, within 24 hours, you'll see your conversion rate go up. And so jumped on a call with him. Of course, I had a very nice consulting fee for him on that. And the average person to say, oh, you're going to pay thousands of dollars for a 45-minute conversation, they think that would be crazy. When this guy was like, look, if this works, I'm good. And so really, it was something that probably could have took me 10 minutes to do, but I just kind of like talked for a long time. So it made him feel like he's getting his money's worth. But literally just went in, made a couple quick changes to his checkout page. And I remember the next day he sent me a message and he's like, Paul, I feel like I just drank a case of Red Bull. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, man, I am so excited. Conversions are going up. Revenue for this day is at its all-time high. And I was like, I told you it'll work. So, if you can help a person, you will always be in business.
I like that. If you can help a person, you will always be in business. There was a mentor of mine that's now a good friend that I was chatting with. He said something to me where he's like, a lot of people are so fixated on making whatever the millions of dollars, whatever the figure is.
Yeah.
Fixated on this. And he said to me, he was like, Femi, instead of you focusing on making 50 million, 100 million, whatever the number is,
yeah,
focus on helping 100 million people.
Yeah.
Focus on impacting 50 million people. Focus on helping that many people. The second you do that, automatically
the money comes. Yeah.
And it's funny because I see so many people end up being stuck because they're not clear about what they want.
Yeah.
And I don't mean monetary wise, because money is just money. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, clear about what makes them feel fulfilled.
Yeah.
So that
Purpose.
Yes. So that when your back's against the wall and you're like, whew, I don't know. I don't know. You dig deeper and you manifest what you want to see. So that I love that.
I had, during this craziness that we're experiencing, businesses have shut down in quarantine. I mean, if you would have told us a year ago that we are going to be locked in our homes for a couple months and not allowed to leave, and when we leave, we have to wear a mask and we have to stand 6 feet away from each other. And, if we would have told you that a year ago, you would have said, what type of sci-fi movie have you been watching? I mean, it sounds unreal. So when all of this hit, I had friends of mine, clients and coaching students that reached out to me, Paul, what do I do? What do I do? And they just started panicking, like, my business is going to shut down completely. And my answer was consistently to everybody, just figure out a way you can help people. Just figure out a way you can help people. And if you can do that, you might have to change the way that you are currently doing things. But if you can figure out a way that you can still help people, you'll still be in business. That's all business is about, is helping people. But if you're like, how can I make money? How can I make money? You missed it. But how can I help people? You'll be in business.
That's power. That's power. Now let's use your gift and your unique ability to drop some gems on the listeners and the viewers right now. What strategies have you seen that make internet marketing or social media campaigns successful?
So here's the thing. What was working 1 week ago may not work today.
Yep.
What was working a month ago, a year ago, may not work today. So it's always an evolving, where you always have to be one step ahead. You have to be innovative. You have to be, disruptive. That's kind of a catchphrase that people are saying. You got to be disruptive. Here's the thing. What happens when people are disruptive is somebody comes out and says, hey, you know, this is what we need to do. We need to do this type of video, this style of video, and they do it, and it's disruptive. And it's like, wow, it does really well. And then everybody says, oh, look at that video. It's very disruptive. I like that. And then they start doing it. And then the next person starts doing it. And now everybody's doing it. And guess what? That video or that style ad that you were doing is no longer disruptive because everybody's doing it now. So what you have to do is you have to ask yourself, you have to like look at what people are doing and ask yourself, what aren't people doing? And then try to find a piece, a way to present your social media, your brand in a way that is unique from everybody else. So look at what everybody else is doing and don't do that.
It's funny. I would even go back to an example I can think of my brother when I was growing up. When we were growing up, I remember us going into stores and buying clothes, and he would ask the retail person, what is the hottest thing moving right now?
Yeah.
And they would be like, it's this jacket. Everybody's buying this jacket. And he's like, what color of it?
Uh-huh.
And they'd be like, it's this color in red or whatever it is. And he's like, I'm going to buy the white.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll buy the completely different jacket, and I'll walk in and people be like, where'd you get that from? So it's funny that like that same mindset of what do I like? And I want people to process this. What do I like? What am I good at? And what is the market doing? And how do I present it to attract the audience I want to work with?
Absolutely.
So here's where we're going to feed into more value. If you were to start everything over from scratch right now, how would you leverage internet marketing and social media to scale your business from 0 to 100 real quick?
Yeah, so you have to be diversified. When it comes to social media, a lot of times people make the mistake of, just being on Facebook or that. So what I would do is I would start out a little bit on every platform. So, say 25% Facebook, 25% Instagram, 25% YouTube, 25% TikTok. So I would get the attention among these platforms and then slowly start to push that. Of course, you're going to be able to look at the your analytics and everything like that and see where your best return is. But when you understand that attention is a currency, it really is. Attention is currency. So I would invest in your own personal brand, like what we're doing right here. This is, I'm investing in my personal brand. I'm giving value. I'm connecting with your. This is free. This is free. This doesn't cost me anything to do. Now, I'm a VIP guest. I'm a special guest. I know that you normally, people pay you thousands of dollars to be on this podcast and stuff, but I'm your friend. So, but I get the hook up. So, but I would double down on what can I do to get attention, get online attention, building that personal brand, whether it's podcasts, whether it is doing videos, putting out as much content as possible on as multiple platforms as possible. You do want to have something that you can monetize, but generating attention is what's going to sell it. So, and it's free. I mean, there's so many different platforms that you can use. And if you just started doing it, as much content as you can. People always ask that question, how many times should I post today? I'm like, as many as you can. I mean, can you go wrong? Well, the algorithm and everything like that. No, just do as many times as you can, as much content as you can, as many platforms as you can. And guess what? In the end, the algorithm won't care. You know what I mean? If you can build authentic, real relationships with people, and then just do. This is something I wish I would have started sooner. Is making sincere, authentic connections with people on social media. I do this on a regular basis where I will message, 40, 50 people a day, comment, like their posts and stuff, and connect with them for no reason. Not like I'm trying to sell them anything, or just, hey, love your content and stuff, and just, and I've seen things grow from that. Just doing that, you end up on cool podcasts. You end up, getting invitations to speak at conferences and stuff, and it just starts out with building authentic relationships with people on social media.
I think that you dropped a bunch of bombs right there, some good bombs. Like everywhere has happened. There, the one I'm gonna point out: attention is currency.
Attention is currency, absolutely. Yeah.
Like I had to just attention is currency. Get the jazz, the poetry finger snaps on that one, right? And then the other aspect of authenticity and
Yeah.
connection.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example of that. When I launched my first print published book, REBOOT, I remember published it, wrote it, got it edited, everything, released it. And I was like, man, how am I going to sell this thing?
Uh-huh.
Like, I don't feel like I'm supposed to do a book launch.
Yeah.
I remember that. I got this feeling it's not supposed to be a book launch. How am I supposed to release this thing? I took a photo, posted it on my Facebook page, and just went about my day. I think at this point I went to church.
Yeah.
Church. And I was like, well, how am I gonna do this?
Mm-hmm.
And I went back to my Facebook post and had over 100 likes and comments. It was just like growing. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And something was like, just message each of these people. Just check in.
Right, right.
And within 24 hours, I sold out my entire first boxes.
Wow. Yeah. It's just people that are connected to you.
It's that connection, like you said, like, and being authentic and real. I think if I were to look at any of the businesses that I've been building, being real, being genuine, being authentic with each interaction, people feel that.
Right. Absolutely.
Like you feel when someone's being fake to you. Like you just,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something just,
No, I'm not falling for that. Yeah.
like, something's kind of off there. I'm going to step back. So I think
Yeah.
you sharing that provides even more value to those that really need it right now. So I want to say thanks for sharing that point.
Yeah. You can't teach authenticity. You know what I mean? It's like, I can't teach you how to be authentic. It's like, you either are or you're not. So
Facts. So we're going to keep vibing off of this. Okay. A purpose-filled family man.
Yeah.
Thriving marketing business and pioneering style. Paul, what's next?
Man, I tell you what, I'm going to retire on some private island somewhere or something like that. I don't know. Man, people always ask, what's your plans in 5 years? I'm like, 5 years? I don't know what I'm going to do on Friday. So, ask me questions like, but really, I mean, think about this. I don't know what the next new social media platform is going to be. I don't know what the next new opportunity is going to be. There's going to be big opportunities, and there's always new platforms and new ways of doing things. And so I'm going to do a lot. I'm going to do a lot of stuff. I'm going to make a lot of mistakes, and I'm going to get some successes, but I'm going to try a lot of things. And I enjoy that kind of like, that risk, like, oh, maybe this will work, maybe it won't. And, so I'm going to try a lot of crazy things. I'm going to, try things that people aren't doing. And, there is a whole world of, I envision marketing in ways like marketing and virtual reality kind of merging together. There's things like that are possible. There's, but when it comes down to it, marketing still is relationship based. So regardless of how complicated, I tell people, look, the skills for marketing, whether it's Facebook ads, whether it's copywriting, whether it's building funnels. Eventually, it will be generated by AI. I read one article, I forget what bank it was, I think it was Chase Bank. Chase Bank used artificial intelligence and a human copywriter and built a site, one with AI and one with a human, and the AI won. So that's kind of like and people like, oh, our jobs are in jeopardy, we're going to be replaced by AI. No, I mean, this is an opportunity for you to leverage that and build something with AI. So yeah, I think that there's going to be huge technological advances that make marketing more exciting, more fun, and easier. I know, say for example, in when I first started doing Facebook, it was there was so easy. I mean, it was just like a very basic ad platform, and then they started getting pixels, and they started getting lookalike audience, custom audiences and stuff. And I remember every time Facebook would come out with some new feature, marketers were like, oh man, this is going to mess everything up, we were doing so good and stuff. But then when you realize you learn how to use it, it actually makes things better. So I think it's always a learning process, and I enjoy learning. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to learn, I'm going to grow, and I'm going to what I'm going to do. I don't know. Call me back in 5 years, and I'll tell you what I've done.
Bring you back on ES podcast, man. That's the
Yeah.
Now, these are the real meaty questions I love getting into, because it kind of gives you a deeper look at yourself,
Mm-hmm.
your life, and your impact. Okay. So the
Sure.
question I have for you is, what does success look like to you as an entrepreneur?
Oh man, I think it comes down to one thing, and that's happiness. Uh, because I know people that make a lot of money, but they're not happy.
Yep.
I know a lot of people that have created big businesses. They're not happy. They don't have that satisfaction. And I don't mean like a selfish happiness. I mean like you're happy with yourself. You're happy with what you've done, and you can't really put a price tag on that. You can't put, dollars and cents to that, because I know people that are I never want to discount someone's success based upon how much money they've made, how many employees they have, how many courses they've sold, how many video views they have, because that's a very basic thing that doesn't define whether they're happy or whether they're making an impact. So that's really what it comes down to is, are you happy in life? And for me, um, I personally, I find happiness in helping people. And that's a matter of fact, right before I got onto this podcast, in one of my private Facebook groups, a guy there by the name of Terry posted a message, screenshots of some of his success. And he said, Paul, your course, your training has changed my life. And I personally know Terry, and Terry has been on a roller coaster. Matter of fact, I can share this with you because he shares it on his Facebook. But Terry has been in and out of rehabs, now clean and sober, for quite some time now. But he was always trying to get, when you got a record, it's hard to get a job. And so he chose the entrepreneur path and tried many things, and got into one of my courses, and is fine. I mean, he was posting screenshots like $500 this day, $300 this day, $200 this day. It's like, bro, this has changed my life. And to me, I was like, oh man, it just like everything that I've done this year right there. I was like, okay, Terry changed his life, helped him out, that was so rewarding. And to say, hey man, I get paid to help people. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
I feel that too. I think every entrepreneur I've spoken with on this show has said the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was speaking to a gentleman who had his fitness studio and sold it for millions of dollars, retired early.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I'm like, do you want more?
Mm-hmm.
And he said to me, he's like, Femi, I never thought I would ever say this,
Mm-hmm.
but no, I have enough.
Mm-hmm.
I have what I need.
Yeah.
And then I asked him, I'm like, right now, do you feel fulfilled?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the word most people are hard to find the right word. It's fulfillment.
Yeah.
Do you feel fulfilled? And he said to me, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, I was chatting with that same gentleman today, that is where every person needs to be. How do you find peace?
Yeah.
How do you find fulfillment? It's not just from accumulating only material things. There's other ways that you can achieve that.
Yeah.
But you need to ask yourself those hard questions, you know? So thank you for sharing that one as well.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to ask the question two more ways.
Okay.
What does success look like to you as Paul Getter?
Yeah. Well, for me, it is definitely more than money. There comes a point where you realize that money does not define success. Material things do not uh, define success. But my family, my legacy that I leave, my reputation, uh, all of those things are what defines success to me. My family, my uh, reputation, and the legacy that I would leave when I'm gone. I think this is difficult for people to understand, but you really don't know what success is until you're gone. Look at many of the very successful people that you can name in history. They never recognized that they were successful while they were alive. You know, they were just like another politician, another artist, another singer, another, whatever it was. But you never realize the impact you have until you're gone and your absence is felt. So I don't think you really know what success is until the last page has been turned and you exit out of here, and then history will determine were you successful or were you not.
I love it. I love it. Okay, we're going to ask the question one last way. What does success look like to you for your clients?
Success for my clients is helping them solve their problems. Helping them solve their problems. They all have different types of problems, and they come to me expecting them to solve their problems. And so if I can help them solve their problems, whether their problem is ads that aren't performing correctly, whether the problems is not getting enough leads or not growing on Instagram, they have those problems. So if I can uh, bring them on as a client, as a coaching student, whatever it might be, and help them solve those problems, that's success for them. And that in return would be success for me too.
Power. Power. Now, I want to thank you so much for
Hey,
joining.
you're welcome, man. You're welcome, Femi.
Usually what I love doing is just how can the listeners, the viewers, get in contact with you? Because you've been sharing some really valuable information. I want you to pass on the word. How can anyone get in contact with you?
Yeah, so a couple different ways. Number one, if you want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram handle is Paul, just Paul. That's it. Nothing, no fancy underlying characters, 1, 2, 3, or anything like that. My Instagram handle is Paul, Paul. It's an OG Instagram handle. So follow me on Instagram, send me a DM. You can also visit my personal website, which is paulgetter, getter.com. Got all kinds of free content there. You can check out my courses, set up a strategy call, whatever it might be. So Instagram or my website, and we can get in touch.
Power. Now, is there anything else you want to share with the ES listeners?
Man, I think I gave it all. I mean, it's like my brain is empty now, man. It's just like, what else can I tell them? No, for young entrepreneurs, I think that there's a few things that you need to understand that are important. People ask me the question, if you could go back in time, what would you do differently? Number one, get a mentor, follow someone, connect with someone that you can learn from. Number two, don't be afraid to take risk. Your failures don't define you, so don't be afraid to take risk. And then number three, understand that every day that you're in is a new day. You can have bad days, but you'll look back at those bad days and you're like, oh man, that was nothing. So don't get stuck in those bad days. But that's some advice for young entrepreneurs.
I love it. I'm going to feed off of that for a hot second. Young entrepreneurs may not necessarily mean young in age. You might be young in the entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah.
So use everything this man just said and your life will change. So I want to thank you once again, Paul, on being here.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
I look forward to having you again on the show soon.
That'd be great, man. I appreciate you having me, bro. Have a great day.
You too.